What's up guys? I have a very short video for you today. I thought I'd make a little tier list about our PvP limited rare recruit characters on global. You can see that not many, it's like 9 units that we have at the moment, so yeah, there's not really that much to talk about, but just if you're a beginner that you know, if there's Pirate Rumble, Sugofest, what you should look out for, especially, right? So let's start here. First one is PvP Whitebeard, which came out in December last year. PvP Whitebeard is probably the best PvP unit that we still have to this date. Just since he's amazing on every kind of team, he can be played in every kind of team and is mostly used on the bench though. But if a certain unit dies, or really any unit dies, and he comes in and he can use his special that deals massive damage and he has the defense down, he's so good. So yeah, if you have a chance to pick him up, pick up this PvP Whitebeard. So for the next one, we have Otama. Otama, when she came out, was probably the best PvP unit because the first batch of PvP units was Otama, Jozu, and Neko. And from these 3 units, Otama was definitely the best at the start. Now she sees less play, but she's still an amazing unit. And she's not only overall good, I think she's really amazing. So you can not really play her in any attacking teams because you have to take into consideration that you need to kill your opponent quickly, and what does a healer do for you in an attacking team? Literally nothing, right? You're just wasting a spot for a unit that could deal damage, and most of the games you play with Otama you will just lose because time runs out. And obviously she's not a slasher, so you cannot play her in a slasher team. So yeah, she was a must-have at the beginning of PvP, but now she has definitely dropped down for me, and yeah, she's still an amazing unit, so let's just let her be in that tier. Neko is a bit different. Neko was good at the start, then didn't see that much play. You can still use him on some baity dev teams, but I don't think a unit that is just used on a baity dev team should be considered amazing, because there are no amazing quick teams. He has a HP cut special, which for you have to keep in mind, these PvP units are mostly, not all the time, mostly used from the bench so that they can come in later and deal some heavy damage or do some cool stuff. But for Neko, he's just an HP cutter, and what does an HP cutter do for you at the end of the game? Literally nothing, right? Because if the units are already low, the 30% HP cut is just 30% from like 1000 HP or 2000 HP, which is literally nothing, and it's just a wasted spot. And so now he's not amazing anymore. I think he's also not situational. He's overall still a good unit, but he's not an amazing unit. Konus, which came out with the Kagara Nolan and the Kaku, she is a very good unit. She debuffs slashers or Psy, I think. I don't own her myself, but she is definitely very good against the slasher team, and that makes her amazing at the moment. So people get baited into attacking in teams with her and with Roger, and then you could potentially lose. It's still not a guaranteed win if you play Konus. You have to be a bit lucky. But she's still amazing for these teams, so I would put her into that tier as well. Overall, you can say the PvP units that came out on global till now are all very good, right? There's not really a unit that is overall completely trash. That's because I don't have a trash tier. They are all useful, and it's just you compare them one to another, and obviously there are differences, but if you compare them to normal units, there's no comparison because they cost only 20. And if you would play a legend on the additional spot, you could also play 3 of these PvP units. So obviously, for what they do and for what they cost, they are all super amazing. Kagara Norland is a must-have unit for one slasher version, so he is not a must-have for every team. He is really good if you play him in a slasher team that has 4 slashers and 4 PvP units, and it literally doesn't make a difference at the moment if you play that version or you play the 5 legend version, so you don't really need him. But if you play him, he's really good because his special cooldown is very low. I think it's 15. So he might be popping 2 times before any other special pops. And that could mean that he will just kill a unit or bring a unit so low that the first special of your normal units then kills the unit. And yeah, that's a situational effect. You could also hit a useless unit, like you hit a unit with high def and deal no damage whatsoever. So he's a bit RNG based in how he works because he doesn't always attack the same unit, right? And yeah, still his effect can be game changing, and if he's coming from the bench late game, he can also be devastating because if he's just ready then and then just one shots the unit that is left, that is very good. So I would also put him into the amazing tier at the moment. Josu in the int meta that we had right before Roger and Odin came into the game was a must-have unit for the int team, and the int team was the best team in the game, so I would have put him into must-have if this was a December list. But since this is not a December list, it's a February 2021 list, Josu is not a must-have anymore. The int team is still not good enough to beat slashers. I mean the full int team that was played in December. Although they are buffed this season, they are still not good enough to beat a fully maxed out slasher team. So yeah, he's not a must-have. But for that int team that can still beat a lot of other teams, he's still an amazing unit, and he's definitely better than Neko. So I would still put him here. Kaku for me is a must-have unit on the best team in the game right now, and that is the 5 legend slasher version. And for that, he's the same as Kagara and Noland, because in the 8-man team you need Kagara and Noland. In the 5-man legend team, when you only have one bench unit, you're not choosing PvP Whitebeard, you're choosing Kaku, just because he's a slasher, he benefits from all the buffs. And so it's really, really good if you have him. He has an AoE special. And don't make this mistake in reading units that have maybe a weird passive and you think, yeah, that makes no sense in the current meta. You have to think beyond that. You have to know what your team is trying to do. Your team is trying to deal AoE damage, it's trying to kill the opponent quickly. And what can happen? You challenge a team that has Kagara and Noland kills one of your slasher legend units, Kaku comes in, and Kaku takes his place. Kaku can also deal heavy AoE damage, which no other slasher unit can, that costs 20. Kagara and Noland cannot do that, they only hit single target. And so yeah, Kaku is in the same tier as those units. Stassi is a unit that I've pulled, but I've never played on any PvP team, which is just, her special is just not good enough. She deals damage, she boosts quick, but there are not really many good quick teams at the moment. You don't see her in any dev team, you don't see her in any attacking team, and so she is very situational. And if I would put a unit into the trash tier, if I had a trash tier here, I would put Stassi in. So maybe let's just make a tier here, like, not trash, she's still decent for what she does. Let's call this bad at the moment, because in the future, if there's a good quick team, Stassi will rise in play, definitely. And yeah, let's put Stassi there. For Sanji is an underrated unit, I would say. If you don't have many of the other units, you can always play the Sanji, just because he deals heavy damage as well. But he's a strength unit, he buffs strength, he doesn't have the best classes for PvP, he's not a slasher, So you can play him from the bench, but he's not gonna get buffed by anything really, and he doesn't deal as much damage as the other units. So for me, he's a very situational unit. But if you're missing some of the other characters, and for example, if you play the 8-man slasher team, which needs 4 PvP units to work, and you're missing out on one of those units, like Haku or Kagara, you could, for example, play PvP Whitebeard, Kagara, Sanji, and then Josu. Then you still have 4 units that deal damage, right? So for that situation, he is then better than Neko, because Neko doesn't make sense in that team. But overall, Neko is a better unit because he works better with more teams. Yeah? Okay. I hope that was understandable. Yeah, this will be more complicated and more complex when we get more PvP units, but at the moment that's all we got. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video, guys, and I hope this can help you make a choice what to pull for on the next PvP banners. So have a nice day.